one, live.
It is like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory. Empty your mind, be formless, shapeless, like water, like water, like water. Water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend. Empty your mind. Water can flow or it can crash.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Oh my goodness, we got some echo going on. Close that out there real fast. All right, hey, welcome. This is the Rich Man's Gym webcast, podcast, whatever cast you want it to be. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for tuning in. If you're catching this after, if you're not watching live, thanks for tuning in after the fact. Appreciate you being here. My name is David Bradley. I am your host of the Rich Man's Gym podcast. Sometimes I'm going to have a guest. Other times, not so much. It's just going to be little old me. But if you are watching live or if you're watching the recording, make sure to share this out because I guarantee you somebody on your line, somebody, one of your friends on Facebook, one of your friends on Twitter, somebody could use this message today. So share it out. Make sure you're putting it out there so you can help other people. So Rich Man's Gym, what is it? Rich Man's Gym is about strength and conditioning for body, mind, and spirit. Train anywhere. Training is a very important piece of my world, very important piece of my puzzle on all levels. And you want to make sure that what you're doing every single day is something that brings out the best in you, that you're doing things to become better today than you were yesterday. That's my VP of Sales, Jared Glant. That's his quote, and I love it. So I think about every single day, man, what am I doing today to be a better me, right? So we got a couple sponsors for Rich Man's Gym and this webcast, Facebook cast. There's four of them. First sponsor is going to be Prove It. This is a supplemental ketone product that I've been taking for many years, for about a year now. It's worked wonders for me, helped me with mental clarity, helped me with focus, also helped me with more endurance, not just in my workouts, but throughout the day. It's been very helpful for me with that. So if that's something you're interested in, check out richmansgym.com/prove it. You can get some more information about that. Or leave a comment below. Be happy to answer your questions about supplemental ketones and how it may be beneficial for you. Another sponsor of the Rich Man's Gym podcast is Onnit. Onnit, their slogan is total human optimization. So as I was already mentioning, Rich Man's Gym is about strength of body, mind, and spirit. It's about becoming a better total you and total human optimization. Onnit and I are very much aligned in that thinking. So hit up richmansgym.com/Onnit for more products. Two products of theirs that I take on a regular basis is Alpha Brain and Shroom Tech, both of which has helped me upstairs as well as with my workouts. Third sponsor, Cardone University. This is a sales training program. It's cloud-based, 100% accessible on the internet. If you're in sales, if you're in business, if you're in customer service, frankly, if you deal with customers, you're in sales, okay? So how do you take a customer from the greeting all the way up through to a close and do it in a way that's ethical, transparent, and where everybody feels good about it? Cardone University will show you exactly what you need to do that. It's accessible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from any internet accessible device. There's over 1,500 lessons in there. If you got a sales team, this is perfect to train up the whole team. But go to cardoneuniversity.info for more on that. Final four, March Madness, happening right now. Okay. Fourth one is my book, How to Stop Smoking Without Killing Anyone. I did smoke cigarettes for about 15 years, finally kicked the habit in 2002. After multiple times of trying to quit, failing miserably. What I wound up doing, though, is I found a way to stop. And I hacked it, right? I hacked my own brain. So when I was done, I said, hey, you know what? If this helped me, this might be able to help some other people as well. So I put it down in book format, self-publish it myself. It's available on Amazon, or you can go to the website, stopdon'tquit.com. Turns out, though, that the techniques that I deliver in the book on how I stop smoking actually can break any habit. So whatever you're smoking, that book can help. So it's stopdon'tquit.com. That's the website, or you can hit it up on Amazon. The full title, How to Stop Smoking Without Killing Anyone. Now, on with the show. So as I mentioned, Rich Man's Gym is about strength of body, mind, and spirit. Today, what I'm going to be talking about literally is how to breathe through anxiety. Anxiety is something that I've struggled with my entire life. I'm not going to sugarcoat that deal. I think I've been, it's been a challenge. It's generational. I think how do you say that? Runs in the family, if you will. I think there may even be some genetic disposition to it. And I did some hard research when I stopped smoking, for example, right? Huge anxiety, a lot of panic attacks during that first couple weeks of getting off of nicotine, a lot of just craziness that comes with, having anxiety. Also in 2007, I got sober. You want to talk about, if you're withdrawing from alcohol, you're going to have some anxiety. It's just going to come, right? And I'm constantly, on top of all that, constantly trying to figure out where my limit is and how to get past that. And so I tend to find myself in places where a lot of fear shows up. And I do that on a regular basis because I want to grow and I want to be better. Okay. So having anxiety is something that everybody lives with or deals with. And at some point in your life, you are going to stumble into it. You're going to trip on it. It's going to happen for you. Right. So the question then becomes, what do you do with it? Right. How do you deal with it? Right? How do you make it so it's not debilitating, right? I know, a lot of friends I've seen on Facebook, they're sharing their struggles with anxiety. They share their posts to say, hey, this is, panic attack today, a lot of anxiety today. It's all over, right? And right now there's a lot of changes going on in the world. There's a lot of weird stuff happening. So I think, here's the bottom line. If you struggle with this, if you suffer from it, if it's a thing for you, if it's a challenge for you, what I want you to know right here and now is that you're not trapped, you're not stuck, and you're not a victim. Okay? You are not destined to feel this way for the rest of your life. You are not trapped in this place to where your entire world revolves around trying to not have a panic attack or trying to not be anxious right now. Okay? There's things you can do about it. And so what I want to give you today are three key things, three things that I've done to help work through it, take control of it, and not let it dominate your life, because it doesn't have to, okay? So here's how I got control over it. Maybe it'll help you, maybe it won't, I don't know. You got to be open to it, okay? Number one, taking control of your anxiety. So here it is. Number one is to take control of your anxiety. So let's take a look at the word control. Is control a bad thing? No. Control is a very good thing. You need to control things in your life. So like, for example, your car, a bike, a knife, your toothbrush, right? The keyboard in front of you, the phone that you might be watching this on. You need to be able to control things that are happening in your life. Who told you that you can't be in control of your emotions? Who told you that you can't be in control of your feelings? Because here's the difference between us and the animal kingdom, is that we're human, okay? And if you read a book called Man's Search for Meaning by a guy named Viktor Frankl, he tells us that there's a difference, there's a gap, literally a gap between stimulation and the response. What happens to you and what you do about it, between that is a gap. There's a space where, guess what? You make a decision. So just because you feel fear, just because you have anxiety building up, just because that is happening, it does not mean that you have to take it all the way. You now have a choice to have a panic attack or not. Okay. Now that may be a hard thing to wrap your head around, but the sooner you take 100% complete, total, full responsibility for your anxiety, for your panic attacks, they will continue to dominate you instead of you dominating them. This is a choice you make, period. Okay. And that, again, that may be hard to hear. So What I'm going to tell you about that, if that's hard to hear, you can't quite wrap your head around it, suck it up. The faster you get over this concept and recognize that you are the cause of your panic attack, the better off you're going to be. Promise you that, okay? This is not something that's happening to you. It is happening because of you, or it is happening for you, okay? Saw this really cool documentary with Tony Robbins talking about, hey, I'm not your guru, and someone was up there at one of Tony's seminars talking about this horrible thing that happened to him, and he said, look, you can make a decision right now if life is happening to you or for you, and I love the idea of making the decision that life is happening for you. I want to take it a step further, though, and that it's happening because of you as well. It's the decisions you make. And in that moment between stimulus and response, you decide. You decide on your response, okay? So you have to change your perspective about how you see anxiety, about what you think about it, okay? When you feel like you're being attacked, what happens? You get this fight or flight response. Adrenaline surges, cortisol starts running through your system. You feel like crap, you're tired after. It's not good for anybody, okay? It's certainly not good for you or your blood pressure. So what you want to do when you feel like it's coming is to make a decision. Am I going to choose this attack, right? Am I going to choose to have this experience, or am I going to choose something else, something better, okay? So let's move on to the next step, and I'm going to continue to expand on you being in control of your anxiety and that it is a choice that you're making to have it, okay? Then step 2, right, is to isolate emotion, meaning what? So there's a really cool book, it's a big book, called The Course in Miracles, and what they tell us in that is that emotion can be filtered down to 2 things. I've talked about this before. So emotion comes down to there's 2 root base emotions, love and fear, okay? So whatever you feel right now can be isolated or filtered down to either love or fear. It's one or the other, okay? So if you are deciding to be anxious right now, then that means you're in a place of fear, okay? Now, the guy I work for, Grant Cardone, in his book, The 10X Rule, he talks about the acronym for fear, which is false events appearing real, okay? So there's a really good chance that whatever you're afraid of isn't even happening right now, right? It's not real. It's usually you imagining some false event in the future that hasn't even happened yet, okay? And then allowing that to freak yourself out, right? If you're walking down the street and you stumble on a grizzly bear, well, that is not a false event. That is a real event, and the fear you're having should make a ton of sense. But if you're laying in bed at night, thinking about perfectly safe, right? House is locked up, there's nothing going on, right? But you're thinking about what happened today, or you're thinking about what you got to do tomorrow, and you start freaking out, it's a false event appearing real. Because the brain really can't decipher or differentiate between imagination and reality, what's actually happening. This is why when we start thinking about stuff, our brain starts filling in gaps, things when there's mystery we don't understand, we start, and then you've created this crazy scenario in your head, and now what? Panic attack. Okay? So what you want to do when this starts happening, when you recognize that you're going there, okay? Number 1, don't go there. Remember, it's a choice, okay? Number 2, get in now. Get into present time. Get here in this moment so you can look around. Like, what's behind me? I got this sign. Only positivity allowed here. No negativity allowed here. 10X hat. Champions dominate. One of these compete. Greatness doesn't come without training. I've got a clock. I've got pictures of me as a little boy being held by my parents at Disneyland, right? So, and what I'm doing is I'm looking around my room, and I'm looking around at things that are here now in present time that are here for me, okay? So let me give you an example of things that go on for me. So a couple years ago, I had oral surgery. I should have gotten knocked out for this thing, but I didn't. I stayed awake through the whole thing, and I was numb, right? But I knew what was going on. All my senses, except for touch, were working. So I heard the drills, I heard the scraping, I smelled flesh burning, right? I could see, actually, the light that they were using over me. There was a little reflection, so I could see what was going on, right? It was traumatic. Just be honest, right? It sucked, and I would not wish that on anybody. In fact, I joke about saying we probably could have found Bin Laden a lot sooner if we'd have just gotten all those guys at Gitmo, oral surgery. They'd have been good. We'd have found them. They'd have given them up like that because I was ready to talk and I didn't do anything. So the thing was, though, is that every time I have to go to the dentist now, just for a cleaning, I start reliving those moments, and they were terrifying. So what do I have to do? I have to make a decision. I have to make a choice. I have to recognize that this is not happening again. This is a new experience. This is a new person. This is all new. This isn't real, or it's not then, it's now. Okay. And so I get into now and I stay here now, present, while I get my teeth cleaned. That means I'm going to look around the room. I'm going to engage with the person doing the cleaning. I don't want anything from my past to come up to my present. Okay. And I don't want anything that I'm imagining to come back to my present. Right. I'm just going to be present. And that does take some work. Okay. You got to practice that. So that's something you may want to incorporate into your daily routine of just practicing being present, being here, being in the now. Okay. And that will, that will ripple effect, right? If you get very good at being present and here and now with you, imagine how well that's going to help you to communicate with other people. Imagine you being able to communicate better because you've completely pushed out what you think they're trying to imply or what you think they just said, or you're not thinking about anything, trying to add meaning to something. You're just here listening and taking in and then responding based on a decision that you make. Okay, so that's really good for being able to be a better communicator. So the third thing I like to do, so what do we got? Recognize that your panic attacks and your anxiety is a choice that you're making. Okay, number 2, recognize that you're either in a place of love or you're in a place of fear. Okay, if you're in fear, get into love. Figure out what you need to do that, and then get into present time. Okay. Third thing, this is the key though, for helping me. This has been huge. Breathe. Well, yeah, of course we're breathing. We breathe every single day, but I'm talking about a breathing practice, and that's not necessarily meditation. Okay. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you 3 types of breathing exercises that I do that have been very helpful for me. The first one is called chi breathing, or we can joke about it and say Miyagi style breathing. That's in through nose and then out through mouth. Sometimes if you look at either yogis or Tai Chi practitioners or Qigong practitioners, there's some arm movements that go. You can raise them up and down. You can overhead and back out. There's all kinds of different things you can do, but just be still, present in this moment, and focus on your breath. In through nose, out through mouth. Okay. I like to call it force breathing, not forced, but force, like the Force, like from Star Wars, that Force. Because listen to this great quote from Yoda. He says, "From my ally is the Force, and a powerful ally it is. Life creates it, makes it grow. Its energy surrounds us and binds us. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. You must feel the Force around you, here, between you, me, the tree, the rock, everywhere. Yes." Okay. So for you, as you're breathing, this pulls you into present time. Does that make sense? Forces you to be in present time because you're feeling the Force, whatever that may be, around you. Okay. So if you've got a higher power, whoever that is, that's God, that's Buddha, that's Krishna, that's Muhammad. Okay. Whoever it is for you, you have this moment to connect with them. Okay. That's what chi really is, right? That's the energy. Okay. That's your God force in you. Right? So I've talked about this before too. You are an infinite being having a temporary human experience. Connect with the source. And since we're getting back to this love or fear thing, God is what? Love, right? So boom, right? See how this is all connecting? Okay. So recognize you're in control. Recognize that it's either love or fear that's going on. Okay. get in present time and connect to your higher power. That's part of the breathing. Now, the other kind of breathing that I've been practicing and tinkering with over the last probably, how long? About a year and a half, maybe 2, is called box breathing. Here's what I like about box breathing. This is a technique that most military units, especially on the more elite side, use. I know snipers practice box breathing. Mark Divine talks about it in his book, The Way of the SEAL. And I've heard a few other guys, in special ops, high-end military units use it. Box breathing is where you inhale for a 4 count. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4. Hold your breath for a 4 count. Exhale for a 4 count. Don't do anything for a 4 count, and then back up. So see, it forms a box. So you inhale, hold, exhale, nothing. Right? Okay. That's why it's called box breathing. Now, it doesn't have to be a 4 count. You could do an 8 count. You could do a 6 count, whatever, 5, 10, whatever. Okay. But the point is that you want to have these equal rhythmic things. Now, what this does on you physically is it starts slowing your heart rate down. Again, gets you into present time, focuses you on something that's happening right now, which is you being still and breathing. Now, when a sniper does this or a Navy SEAL does this, this is to not freak out. If you have, 150-yard shot you have to make in high wind, like, you got to be chill, right? If you got caught by the bad guys and you're about to be interrogated, you got to keep your wits about you. Okay. So this helps them calm down. This helps them be at peace in this situation. And if you've got people trying to kill you and you could step on an IED at any moment and you're able to use box breathing to stay present and chill out, if that works for them, ain't nothing we're going through that ain't going to be helpful for, right? So you got your chi breathing, or what I call force breathing, right? You got your box breathing. The third type of breathing that I have been doing, just stumbled on this probably 6 months ago. I found this guy called the Iceman, or Wim Hof. It's W-I-M-H-O-F. Looks like somebody else just joined us, so thank you for being here. What Wim Hof suggests is, and I'm not the expert, but this is what I've been doing with it. Okay. Number 1, check out his website. Number 2, if you're going to try this type of breathing, do it sitting, do it lying down, and then whatever you do, don't go swim or run or whatever, because you can get a little lightheaded. Okay. So here's what I would suggest. So what it is, it's 30 deep breaths, and you take the deepest breath you can on the first, and then you relax and you repeat that deep breath, relax, deep breath, relax, deep, back and forth, back and forth. You want to do that about 30 times. You will feel like you might be about to hyperventilate, which is fine. You will feel like you're going to get a little lightheaded. You're going to get a little tingly, which is why I suggest doing either in a seated position or even laying down. Right. It's a really good podcast with Lewis Howes where you actually see him go through this. But the last breath, you just exhale and you don't breathe. You don't inhale. You just let it be and just hang out. Be present with no oxygen in your lungs, because you just oxygenated your blood. Right. And if you Google or you listen to like Wim Hof, I've heard him on podcasts with Joe Rogan, with Tim Ferriss, Dr. Rhonda Patrick, Lewis Howes, as I just mentioned. He's really worked a podcast circle, so you can get a good sense of who this guy is, and he's legit. There's a really cool documentary on Vice about it. The reason he goes by the Iceman is he's been able to use this breathing technique to tap into his autonomic nervous system and control things like his heart rate, like his body temperature, like his immune system, right? And some people think that's an anomaly, but he's showing that he can actually help people control all of those things. And where I'm going to wrap all this up is that if this guy can do that, then anybody can do that. And if he can control his emotions and his panic and his anxiety, the dude like stood in ice for 90 minutes and didn't die, didn't get frostbite, didn't go hypothermic, right? He has found a way to create that high level of control over his body, okay? So that means if he can do it, you can do it. I can do it. We can do it. So just to wrap this up, number 1, what are you hearing from me so far that you're liking? What's making sense? Which one of the breathing techniques that I mentioned that you thought, I could do that, I could try that? Or is this whole idea that anxiety is something that you're choosing a new concept for you and you got to go wrestle with it now? Right? What about the idea that there's only two emotions, love or fear? Have you ever thought about it like that? And everything else stems from that, right? Fear, back to Star Wars, fear, anger, hate, suffering, right? Remember that quote from Yoda? Right? When all else fails, defer to Yoda. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up. If I can help with anything, I want you to feel free to reach out to me. A couple different ways to get a hold of me. You can message me here. You can email me. David. Actually, let me give you a better email address. Pura Vida Etc. PURAVIDAETC @gmail.com. You can hit up any of my blogs on richmansgym.com. Leave a comment there. Leave a comment here. Message me direct on Facebook. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Share this with somebody because I promise you, like I said, somebody out there needed this message today. So be awesome, and I'll see you next time.